Hello, we're the Technology Group, and we're going to give you an overview of Cisco and what is going on currently in their organization. So, an overview of Cisco. In 2015, they had revenues of about $49.2 billion, and they're a Fortune 500 company, and they're a leader in designing and selling and manufacturing networking equipment such as routers and servers. Currently at Cisco, they have 25,000 engineers being reorganized, and 5,500 people have just been laid off. Top executives are leaving, and Cisco is trying to migrate more to the cloud services platform. So our group is going to talk about re-engineering, downsizing, and managing change along with employee involvement.
I'm Steven Johnson. I'm going to talk about how Cisco is managing this change into the future, how their downsizing efforts will affect their bottom line. First, I think that it's important that we say right off the bat that change is a necessary method for organizational improvement. In order to improve as an organization in workforce efficiency, financials, or your public perception, change is a must. So Cisco is hoping that this change works twofold. They hope that the change of laying off 5,500 employees improves their workforce efficiency as a whole, and that in turn it improves their bottom line profit margins. Our book outlines the steps to an effective change on figure 8.1 in our text. And the steps that it outlines are 6. It says that you need to motivate your employees for change, that you need to create a vision for change, that you need to develop political support within your organization for the change, that you need to manage the transition effectively, and that into the future the firm has to be committed to the endeavor, so they have to sustain the momentum. Earlier this year, the CEO of Cisco sent a memo to the employees, sent an email out. In it, there were 2 quotes. For motivation, Chuck Robbins wrote, "The opportunity ahead of us is ours to win." And then he created a vision by writing, "It has become very clear that we must be organized to best align to our customers' need within this ever-changing environment. Our customers' priorities have always been core to all we do at Cisco, and that is true now more than ever." Immediately, Chuck Robbins gathered his group together and chose an effective future to go after. Before we go any farther, I want to take a magnifying glass to the steps that Cisco is taking. So first, we need to recognize that Cisco's strategy is not unique. It's become normative in the tech industry to lay off employees. The Wall Street Journal earlier this year was quoted as saying, "Cutting staff has become a regular way of doing business for tech companies." So Cisco is not alone in this method of downsizing or strategy of downsizing. Second, 2 men in charge of managing and leading the change are the CEO of Cisco, Chuck Robbins, and the Chief Data Officer, Kevin Bandy. Other members of the team have been laid off, such as the CTO. Lastly, Cisco is committed to staying the course in their downsizing efforts. They've put their money where their mouth is. Cisco has spent $2.4 billion over the past 4 years, estimated by Credit Suisse. So they are committed to this strategy of downsizing. They believe that this is the best way forward.
My name is Jack English, and I want to talk to you about downsizing, the 5 stages of a successful downsizing intervention, and the results of downsizing. So, according to the book, downsizing refers to intervention aimed at reducing the size of the organization. This can be accomplished by decreasing the number of employees through layoffs, attrition, redeployment, or early retirement, or by reducing the number of organizational units. Downsizing is also accomplished through outsourcing, reorganization, or delayering. Now, downsizing is generally a response to at least 4 major conditions. The first one is associated with mergers and acquisitions, as redundant jobs are eliminated to gain labor efficiencies. Second, it can be a result of organizational decline caused by a drop in revenue and market share by either industrial or technological change. The third factor is downsizing can occur when implementing a new organizational structure, like the one we were discussing about Cisco. And lastly, it can also result from social pressures to be a smaller firm. There are 5 stages of a successful downsizing intervention, and these can be found on pages 359 and 361 in the textbook. The first stage, clarify the organization strategy. The organization leaders specify corporate strategy and communicate clearly how downsizing relates to it. On August 17, 2016, Cisco announced they would cut 5,500 jobs, or 7% of global workforce, starting in fiscal 2017. The second stage, assess downsizing options and make relevant choices. Once the strategy is clear, the full range of downsizing options can be identified and assessed. There are 3 types of downsizing methods: workforce reduction, organization redesign, and systemic change. Cisco's decision to downsize primarily relates to systemic change. Systemic change is a longer-term option aimed at changing the culture and strategic orientation of the organization. Some examples include change responsibility and foster continuous improvement and innovation. Cisco plans to use the cost savings of eliminating those employees to reinvest into key areas such as security, IoT or Internet of Things, collaboration, next generation data center, and cloud. The third stage, implementing the change. This stage involves implementing methods for reducing the size of the organization. Cisco has already performed layoffs to free up the funds for these new specialized work units. Fourth stage, address the needs of survivors and those who leave. Most downsizing eventually involves reducing the size of the workforce, and it is important to support both employees who remain and the ones that are let go. Layoffs bring on more responsibilities to the workers that stay, so it is crucial to make sure these employees do not become overloaded with stress and anxiety. The last stage, follow through with growth plans. The final stage of downsizing involves implementing an organizational renewal and growth process. Moving quickly will help keep the downsizing intervention successful, and organizations must ensure that employees understand the renewal strategy and their roles in it. The last thing I'm going to discuss is the results of downsizing. Research shows that downsizing is mostly negative. A review conducted by the National Research Council concluded, from the research produced thus far, downsizing as a strategy for improvement has proven to be, by and large, a failure. But in the case of Cisco, it has shown an actual growth in the market. According to a CNBC article, the company reported fiscal fourth quarter earnings of 63 cents a share on revenues of $12.64 billion, beating analyst expectations for 60 cents per share on revenues of $12.57 billion. Cisco CFO Kelly Kramer said, "Cisco's strong operational discipline has enabled us to drive growth and margin improvement as we continue to invest in key priority areas such as security, IoT, collaboration, next-gen data centers, and cloud, while also delivering shareholder value." The success of Cisco's downsizing may be the result of having a strong plan to use the cost savings from the layoffs and put them into 4 specialized units to generate innovation and growth throughout the company.
So hi, I'm Megan Marone, and I'm going to talk about re-engineering. So as we just discussed downsizing, re-engineering goes hand in hand with downsizing. Cisco's last restructuring was in the fall of 2014, in which the engineering department was reorganized as part of the company's 8,000 person layoff. Currently, in August, Cisco had announced that they would be laying off another 5,500 jobs as part of their new restructuring. So basically, re-engineering transforms how organizations produce and deliver goods. It also works on breaking down specialized work units into more cross-functional processes. As a part of the reorganization, Cisco is breaking down the company's large engineering unit into 4 new teams. The teams include networking, cloud services and platforms, security, and applications and IoT. Re-engineering makes companies more responsive to changes in competitive conditions, customer demands, product life cycles, and technologies. In terms of technology, Cisco is restructuring as it addresses and embraces the current transformation towards digital technologies. Cisco is focused on innovation and will continue to make the changes necessary to accelerate growth. In terms of customer demands, CEO Chuck Robbins met with customer and country leaders to obtain more knowledge regarding the current technology shift. Also, Chuck Robbins used the information obtained from these meetings and these customers to drive the change in Cisco. These sales, services, marketing, and engineering leaders will now work more closely with the customer's priorities and drive growth throughout the company.
So I'm going to talk about employee involvement and how critical this is for Cisco. So employee involvement in the technology industry is critical because you need passionate employees to make sure you stay ahead of the competition. Increased employee involvement is going to ultimately lead to productivity, which will then increase revenues and sales for Cisco. Our book defines employee involvement as seeking to increase members' input into the decisions that affect organizational performance and employee well-being. With the layoffs continuing in thousands, it's critical for Cisco to implement more employee involvement procedures. Table 13.2 in our textbook actually gives a nice outline of employee involvement in high involvement organizations. Some of these structures are organizational structure, job design, information system, career system, selection, training, reward system, personnel policies, and physical layout. We think Cisco should really focus on personnel policies. This really focuses on the stability of employment. Because technology is such a rapidly and evolving industry, people may be threatened that, hey, if the next new technology comes out, I may not have my job tomorrow. So we want to make sure Cisco instills in their employees that they will have a job tomorrow and they need to feel responsible for the better growing and better being of Cisco. So making sure employees see the long-term development and goal of the company is critical to make sure they get the optimal performance out of the organization and their employees.